found it, say amen. I'm reading from the Contemporary English Version, so mine's going to read a little bit different, but I used it for greater understanding. There you'll find these words. God treated me with undeserved grace and let me become an expert builder. I laid a foundation on which others have built, but we must each be careful how we build. I'll read it one more time for your hearing. God treated me with undeserved grace and let me become an expert builder. I laid a foundation on which others have built, but we must be careful how we build. I want to talk to you from this thought in our minds for the next few moments. Who are you letting build on you? Who are you letting build on you? If ever you've taken a trip, Deacon D. Berry, if ever you've watched construction being done, you'll notice one of three things are taking place. Either one, there's a foundation that's been laid, but there's nothing there. So it's getting ready for something to be put in that place. Or two, something has been there for so long, Mother D. Berry, now it is of no use and it needs to be torn down. Or thirdly, when you look at construction, you'll find that oftentimes people are satisfied with what they have, but they need to add something to it. And anytime there is an addition to anything that's already been laid and been established, it's because somebody's trying to enlarge it and make it better. Here it is that we find in our text that we have a very peculiar situation taking place. Because oftentimes in this day and time, many people want to build, but just like you have to do in the natural realm, you have to make sure you have the right permits. You have to make sure that the blueprints are exact. You have to make sure that everybody is walking around and operating per the schematics that have been laid. Here it is in our daily life. We have people oftentimes, they're either trying to tear something down, they're trying to remove something, or they're trying to put something in a place that they may not already have the authority to do. And most times when people are building in their daily life, they are not looking at God's blueprint. They are not looking at God's plan for what it is God has for them. They are looking at what they think, how they feel, and how they want things to go. And I've come to tell you in 2019, last week we talked about being aware of bad advice. This time I'm talking about being careful of who you allow to build onto you. You've got to be careful of who you allow in this season, this year, to attach themselves to you, because everybody that's around you, everybody that's talking to you, everybody that's trying to build you are not building you for the right reasons. I've come to find out whenever you go to a construction site and you look at the tools that are there are many tools that are there in the construction site, but in the hands of the wrong person, those tools can become instruments of damage. Those tools can be used to tear things down. Those tools can be used to uproot some things that God meant to stay in place. And I've come to learn that everybody that wields a hammer really don't know how to wield a hammer. Just because you can pick it up don't mean you need to be wielding it, because a hammer in the hands of a skillful builder can be used to build up. A hammer in the hands of a skillful builder can be used to solidify a foundation, but in the hands of a novice, in the hands of a person who doesn't have any training, that same hammer that's used to build up is the same hammer that's used to tear down. Take something as simple as a screwdriver. A screwdriver, its job is to either tighten things or loosen things. It's just that simple. But oftentimes, many of us walk around as screwdrivers in this life, and many of the things that we are doing, we are twisting people. And if we are not doing it according to what God has called us to do, we will twist people and turn them in the wrong way. And when we turn them in the wrong way, we tend to turn them off of God. We tend to turn them off of the church. And I come to encourage you this year to make sure that anybody that's attached to you, that is twisting you, that is pushing you, that is pulling you, you understand that they have the right to do what they're doing. Because everybody in your construction site don't deserve to be there. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, I ain't gonna make you shout today. I just want you to understand that this year we are in the place of doing a hard reset. We are getting ready to reset. We are restructuring. We are rebuilding. We are in the process of, there has been a perfect foundation that has been laid by 3 previous pastors. Thank God for their sacrifice. Thank God for their work. But now it is our time, it is our turn to take what they have laid, and it's now time to build on it the way that God has called us to. Here's the reality. We cannot afford to keep saying what happened in the old days if we're not doing anything in this day to magnify what God did back then. Come on. Am I making sense? And so what I really want to get to you is, we are contractors in this season, and it is our job to make sure that anybody that comes in this house, that they're coming Deacon D-Berry with the right mindset. That they're coming with the right attitude, that they're coming with the right spirit. That's why this year we ain't gonna be just letting anybody stand up and talk to you. We ain't gonna be just letting anybody say and do what they want to do. This is a year that even me, myself, I'm creating some folk around me that can check me when I'm wrong. See, here's the thing, and y'all, I can call this my state of the church address if you want to, because here's the reality. I understand that because the foundation has already been laid, we don't really know what's under the ground. Because Deacon Warren, if you've never done construction, sometimes things under the ground is shifted. And when the stuff under the surface shifts, that means we have to go back in and refortify the foundation so that as we start to build, it ain't gonna shift. See, every foundation that's been laid, it ain't gonna stay 100 years. Every now and then, they got to go back down there and they got to strengthen what remains. What are you saying? I'm saying to Samaritan this year, we got to make sure we strengthen what remains. We got to make sure that we encourage Mother D-Berry what remains, because if we don't do it, we can't expect those that are on the outside to come in and have the same love and compassion and drive that we have. Their drive is only going to go based off of what they see us do. Okay, and I'm coming to let you know, I know what the enemy wants to do. I know what the enemy is saying, but I come to tell you the devil is a lie. That despite how it looks, you are greater than what you know. You're more powerful than what you display, and you can do more than what you have been doing. I'm just telling you, this year, let's take the brakes off. This year, let's really stand up and be who we're supposed to be. In 73 years, this church has been here. This church has been an example, but what are we building now? We thank God for Pastor Moore, but I wasn't around in Pastor Moore's day. We thank God for Pastor Stevens. I wasn't around in his day. We thank God for Pastor Stargill, but I wasn't around in his day. So here's the question. Out of all of those that have been here throughout that transitional period, what have you built that's still remaining? What have you done that still says we are here? And see, now here it is, we're not erasing what was, but we're trying to edify what was. And the question is, then what are you going to do? Because watch what the text says. The text says, God treated me, first of all, with undeserved grace. Okay, can I be honest with you? What you got, you ain't supposed to have, but because God loved you, he said, I'm going to let you have it anyway. And where you are, you're not supposed to be, because you didn't have the education for it, you didn't have the training for it, you didn't have the foreknowledge for it, but God said, I love you and I trust you, so I'll let you be there. In other words, where you are now is not because God owes you anything, but it's because God made a promise, and because of the promise he made, he saw fit that you will be able to make sure that the promise came to pass. God doesn't owe you to let the promise come to pass, but because God honors his word and he trusted you enough that you would honor his word, he says, I'm going to give you this grace. our stuff. You don't deserve it because you ain't always in the places I need you to be in. But because I know that I can trust you, I'm giving you a chance to get this thing right. I'm giving you a chance to turn this thing around. I'm giving you a chance to start over. So he says, because God treated me with undeserved grace. Yeah. Yes, sir. And he let me become an expert builder. Here's what I need to leave with you. Point number 2, and that is, can't nobody do what you do. I'll say it again. Can't, and I know that's bad English, but can't nobody do what you do. So what are you saying? I'm saying be confident where you are and do your job where you are. Okay, you're not getting me. You're not getting me. Because he allowed you to become an expert builder in the place that you're in. That means can't nobody sing that song like you. That means there are some folk when they stand on the door, boy, they can't stand like you. So what are you saying, preacher? I'm saying in this season, we ain't got time to be jealous or worried about what somebody else is doing, because God called them to be an expert builder for what they got, and he called you to be an expert builder for what you got. You see, I've come to learn that the only thing that makes construction sites chaotic is when the painters try to do the carpenter's job. Yeah. When the plumbers come in telling the painters what to do. All right. When the landscapers come in telling the plumbers what to do. What are you saying? What are you saying? When you look at a construction site, there are some things on the construction site that cannot be done until other things are in place. Yes, sir. Okay. Let me give it to you like this, because you're looking at me funny. I see the look. I hear you. I hear you to you like this. There are some times where you won't be able to function until the person next to you has done their job. Mm-hmm. And until they do their job, God ain't going to release you to do your job. Because then you cause chaos on the work site. And wherever there's chaos on the work site, then God says, I got to start all over again. And every time you've got to start all over again, that creates another delay. Okay, I'm trying to make this as plain as I can. In other words, we got to get out of the business of causing delays for the body of Christ. We got to get out of the business of causing delays in ministry. Listen, everybody can't do the same job. I know you might be, what's that saying? I'm a jack of all trades, but master of none. I understand you know how to do some stuff, but whenever you're building a sure foundation or a strong structure, you make sure you're using, first of all, licensed contractors. And we got a lot of folk in church who ain't licensed to do what they're doing. They just good because they've been doing it a long time. But if I can't take your work back and get it checked, if I can't pass inspection with your work, then I don't need you doing the work. And I'm just going to tell you, you don't need everybody praying for you. You don't need everybody laying their hands on you, because some folks you can't track their work because they ain't been licensed or ordained by God. You got to make sure in this season the people that you're working with are God ordained. There's too many jacklegs around here. Jackleg is an old school term, but you know, if it's this new school theology, there's too many folk in the world now, especially in church, that got jobs they ain't qualified to do, and because they don't want to listen to nobody, don't want to get no training, don't want nobody to teach them nothing because they've been around a long time, we can't move. So I'm coming because I want to encourage you to watch who you're building
with. Watch who's building onto you. Because, again, Paul says, I'm here because of undeserved grace. And because of that grace, God allowed me through trial and tribulation, through test and toil, through some sleepless nights, through some pains, through some disasters, through some frustrations, through some folk walking out on me, through some folk talking about me, through some folk turning their back on me, through some times I wanted to quit, through some times I was trying to figure out was it worth it. Through all of these things, he still allowed me to become an expert builder. And because he allowed that, he says, I laid a foundation on which others have built. Let me deal with this real quick. Can I be transparent? Can I be me? Can I be real? Y'all know what I do. I'll expose me before I expose anybody else, because you can't get mad at me if I talk about me. So I'll talk about me, and if you get mad, that's just your problem. But watch what he says. Paul says, I laid a foundation on which others have built. He says, I laid a foundation on which others have built. Ecclesiastes declares there's nothing new under the sun. This ain't that new. Amen. I know that was deep. That was heavy. That was heavy. So I'm going to say a little bit slower. This ain't that new. I know it's tripping you out, tripping me out too, so I'm going to give it to you again. This ain't nothing new. He said, I laid the foundation on what others have already done. This ain't nothing new. We ain't got to reinvent the wheel. But we ain't got to start over. He said, I laid the foundation on what everybody else already did. And the reason he was able to lay it on what other people had already done is because the other people did it because God was with them to do it in that time and in that season. In other words, if your foundation has to be pulled up, rooted out, dug up, and relayed, that's because God wasn't in it in the first place. But whenever you're able to go and build on what has already been established, that's because God allowed the first thing to be made. He allowed the first thing to be there. All you got to do is go in and say, okay, Lord, what's next? We ain't changing nothing. We're just enhancing who we are. Okay. Now, let me funny. One of the things that I was always attracted to with Samaritan MBC is the fact that you claimed and declared that you were going to be the lighthouse. And I said, oh my God, a group of people that declare they're going to be a lighthouse in an area that's full of darkness, and they're serious. A group of people that declares no matter what, we're going to reach the lost at any cost, man, they're serious. A group of people that declares no matter what, we're going to make sure we fulfill the Great Commission of Matthew 28. Man, there's some serious folk, but I come to find out that everybody that's been rocking with y'all ain't been building with y'all. Alright. I ain't trying to upset nobody. But it's my job to preach the truth. Here it is. Everybody, because they've been around, they wasn't around trying to help you fortify your foundation. Because there were some folk, every time you put a screw in, they took one out. Every time you nailed something down, they lifted it up just a little bit. And I come to tell you in this year, 2019, we ain't worried about what was, who unscrewed what, who lifted up what. This year we gonna make sure we going back and we gonna nail everything down. We gonna screw everything back in. We will do what God has called us to do, and we shall not be like that. So you never, I don't care how you feel about it, we gonna shine, baby. And if you don't want to shine, just go ahead and go. Because ain't no time to keep starting over. We ain't fucking, we ain't fighting, we ain't arguing. You in or you out. Because that's all I want to know. Because if you gonna be a strap on your toothbrush. We've been spending too much time focused on what don't matter. We've been spending too much time talking about who did what. It's over and done with. So what? Either cook it up, grill it, and eat it, or bury it in the dirt and let it die. But whatever you do this year, let's not repeat the old year. Let me address the elephant in the room while I'm here. Did I make mistakes? Yes, I did. Did I move too fast? Yes, I did. But you know what? We still here. We still making it. And so I come to let you know, I done got past it, so you might as well too. We are the body of the living God. And what we project to the community, what we project in our neighborhood is all of God some people will ever know. And so if you don't learn how to change your conversation, if you don't learn how to change your attitude, then we'll never grow the way we're supposed to grow, because we're too busy being personality driven instead of being God driven. What does the Bible say? We never want to, because if it's in the word, then we can stand on it. We can bank on it. If it ain't Bible, we don't want it.
Yes, sir.
Let me cut across the field. Let me cut across the field. So not only did he have undeserved grace, not only did God allow him to become an expert builder, not only did he lay the foundation on what others have built, but he says, but we must be careful. Each one of us of how we deal. Okay, let me deal with this and I'm through. He says, be careful how you deal. Here's the thing. Just because you know how to do something, don't mean you qualified to do it. Just because you know some stuff, don't mean you need to be saying it. Just because you know that sister's business, it ain't your business to share it. And he says, Deacon D. Berry, we got to be careful how we deal. And what that means is because we are the foundation. We are alive. Scripture says we're lively stones. And if we're not building, or if we're not careful how we build, then we end up causing more damage to stones than need be. Okay, let me give it to you like this, You ever been to Home Depot? And in Home Depot, you're trying to build your patio walkway, so you get all the pretty bricks. I mean, some of them bricks, boy, they pretty. And I mean, but you pick it up and you're looking at it, you're checking it out, and it looks good. And then you flip it, and you see a crack. Look at the rest of the brick because you're trying to figure out, can I still use this even with the cracking? And then you start looking at some of the other bricks, and you're trying to see if they got cracks in them too. Because if these bricks are meant to keep out the water, when it starts raining, Deacon Pete, and I got all these cracks, when the water get in these cracks in the wintertime, these cracks don't spread. And once these cracks start spreading, and if I don't tend to them when they first start spreading, if I don't deal with the rumors when they first start spreading, if I don't deal with the negativity when it first starts spreading, if we don't deal with the naysayers when it first starts spreading, if we don't deal with the hellions when it first starts spreading, we don't deal with the liars when it first starts spreading, as it expands, it creates a crater. And once the crater is there, we have to dig up the homework. I want you to know, God does not want us starting over. He said, what I've laid is good. It's working. You've been here 73 years. Ain't it 73? 73, 74, somewhere in there. Been here longer than I've been born. But with any old building, with any old structure, though the foundation is good, there comes a time for updates. Don't mean we're doing away with nothing. We got to update. And I want to tell you, the church is the only living organism that don't update. Everything else updates. You didn't complain when you had to get rid of that flip phone to get your smartphone. You went on and did it. Why? Because you wanted the updates. You wanted the latest. You didn't complain when they told you, when DTE told you that we're going to send you some light bulbs because the old bulbs you've been using don't work. And these are higher energy efficient bulbs and they're going to last a whole lot longer. You didn't argue. You just went on and changed them. Why? Because you wanted to update. But when it comes to the church, that's the only place we say, well, listen here, we done done it like that for 30 years. But yeah, that worked in 1960. But now we're in 2019 and we got to look at that thing because what worked in the 60s may not work today. So are we going to do away with it? No. But we just going to update it. We just going to tweak it. We going to make it fit. We going to make it work. And if it don't work now, that's because God has moved from that place. And if God has moved from that place, then why are we trying to stay? My God. It makes no sense to me how the people of God are willing to stay in a place God's moved from. It doesn't erase what he did. Because what he did got you the way you are. But we can't stay in what he did because we'll never embrace where we are. What are you saying? What are you saying? You have to open your mind this year. You have to be open. The word is epitha, means be open. Be open to God doing something new. Be open to God speaking something new. Be open to fresh ideas. Be open to new revelation. Be open to trying something different. Be open to doing it a different way. I know what they did in your grandmama's day, but that was your grandmama's day. We ain't got the same issues now that we had in grandma's day. And so because we ain't got them, we got to change. This is the state of the church. We're stuck in a time warp. We're stuck in this time loop. We remember the good old days. And we don't want to leave the good old days. Because these days, Deacon Greg are full of trouble. We don't want to leave the good old days because these days, people don't love God like they used to. We don't want to leave the good old days because these days people don't give like they used to. We don't want to leave the good old days because people don't come to church in this day like they used to. I come to let you know, I've come to encourage you. You have a responsibility to take what happened in those good old days and break those things down, look inside of them and see what worked and see what can work. And if it ain't gonna work, we can't get mad because it don't fit today. You just got to get the part that fit. So in other words, because I can't do it the way we used to do it, that just means I got to get on my knees and start praying and asking God for fresh revelation, asking God for fresh insight and new ideas, because his word is going to stand. He planted the lighthouse 73 years ago, and if God planted it 73 years ago, But can I tell y'all something? No, I ain't gonna help. I ain't gonna help. This might mess you up. It might mess up your theology a little bit. I'm gonna give it to you. It might make some folk mad, but I'm gonna still give it to you. It might make some folk on the stone, so I hope you got my back. Because I'm about to give it to you. This ain't your church. This ain't my church. No. I work for God. This is his church. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Where are my leaders at? All my leaders, raise your hand. Matter of fact, if you're a leader, stand up. Stand up. If you're a leader, stand up. Let me say this to you in front of them. God has us together for a reason. And it is our job to provide guidance, spiritual advice, and godly leadership. It is not our job to go in and create little cliques and clubs. Amen. And when they come to us, it is our responsibility to break them down. We are to be God's henchmen. We are to be God's voice. We are to be God's example. The people will never learn to trust God if when they look at their leaders don't. The people will never learn how to work as a unit if when they look at their leaders don't. The success of this church, God has put in our hands. He's given us the command. He's given us the instructions. He's told us what he wants us to do. He said you're to be the lighthouse. Anything outside of us being the lighthouse, it's not of God. Amen. Because that ain't what God said for this church. So we ain't concerned about the church down the street. Right. We ain't there. We ain't going to other pastors asking for counsel of how we need to operate in this church. They ain't here. It's up to us. If we're going to be successful, it's up to us to do it. And I ain't going to let nobody talk bad about you as a leader. Come on. I'm going to defend you. If you're wrong, I'll get you. But I'm going to defend you. I got your back. And I need you to have his back. And I need you to have his back. I need you to have her back. You understand what I'm saying? As leaders, we got to do better. We got to step up and stop complaining. Sit down. Remember, step up. Membership step up. Understand that leaders have a lot of responsibility on their shoulders. It ain't easy being a leader. Because sometimes you got to decide, am I going to do what's right or side with you because you're my good friend? Right. And so sometimes you're going to get stuff that you don't agree with. They're going to say some stuff that you ain't going to necessarily like. Understand it ain't nothing personal, but there's something bigger at stake here. And that's being a church that is pleasing to God. So that when he returns, we can go and be as he is. Support your leaders. Support one another. And when you hear folk talking bad and saying stuff they shouldn't, don't laugh at it. Tell them, no, we got to stop that and start praying. Because until the church returns back to being the house of prayer, we don't stay in trouble. Amen. Your leaders are not perfect, but neither are you. Your leaders don't always get it right, but neither does you. But we're a family. Amen. And sometimes teeth and tongue fall out, but we still family. I may not always like it, mother, but we family. Right. And because we're family, that says we're going to come to the table and we're going to get it right. We ain't going to let nobody come in and disrupt what God has given us. I want to encourage you this year that although this is a year of reset for us, we ain't got to relay the foundation that's already been laid. But we're going to reset in our thinking, reset in our approach. We're going to get the dust off. We're going to let go of them old grudges, and we're going to start. Amen. The foundation is solid. Let's build on it. Don't fuss about what you don't understand. Pray about it. Don't call folk and complain about what you don't like. Pray about it. And then after you pray, then ask God, how do I approach this? What do I do next? Because truth is, I get a lot of advice. But some advice I just can't take. Not that it ain't good advice, God ain't released me to do it. Right. And even in your personal life, you know there's some things some people tell you, and man, it sounds good, and God tells you, I don't want you to do that. I want you to do it like that. So we have to always listen to God. Our church is a great church. Amen. Samaritan is second to none. But I don't need you to just believe it in here. I need you to believe it out there. I don't need you to just clap about it in here. I need you to declare it out there. In the marketplace, when you out shopping, start talking about your church. You know what most people don't talk about their church? They shame them. You don't talk about nothing that brings you shame. You embarrass the folk to come to. So here's my question. If you embarrass for folk to come to your church, what are you doing to get rid of the embarrassment? Ask the deacons, y'all know. We are a body that has been fitly joined together. Y'all ready to build this year? Y'all ready to build this year? Let me Every good day, every bad day is to teach us a lesson. But now let's go. Let's get up. Let's go. Let's do what God has called Samaritan to do. Let's be who God has called Samaritan to be. And it starts with you at home first. And then you bring that in here. And then we affect the community that's around us. You'll never be the lighthouse if you keep talking darkness. You can't be the lighthouse if your thinking is dark. Your thinking and conversation must match your declaration. Come on, give God praise for that.